and welcome to another Doctor Who review. This time I'm finishing off the Trial of the Time Lord season. If you have missed any of the others, check up out there. Special Trial of the Time Lord playlist has been created for all of these reviews. Check them out there. Yes, I am dealing with the last two parts of season 23, starring the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, A Trial of a Time Lord. As always, here we go. I've taken the plot synopsis from the television companion and I have it here ready to read out. Now what I've been doing with this is I have been doing it in a way where it's quite good, the plot line here. It allows me to split up into different parts. So I've got here the last part here of it, of the plot line that's in this television companion. This is for the last two episodes. With the evidence complete, the Doctor learns that the Master has gained illicit access to the Matrix in this TARDIS. Glitz is now revealed to be the Master's associate, and the secrets to information stolen from the Matrix. The Valeyard admits his identity as a distillation of the dark side of the Doctor's nature, somewhere between his 12th and 13th incarnations, out to take control of his remaining lives. With the help of Mel, who, along with Glitz, has been brought to the space station by the Master, the Doctor defeats his future self. Although, as they leave the TARDIS with all the charges in the trial having been dropped, it appears the Valeyard has taken off the body of the Keeper of the Matrix and may not have been completely vanquished as they had thought. Okay, last two episodes, and part 13 is the last ever script written by Robert Holmes. He sadly died before he could actually complete 14, which is an absolute shame, because he starts off with a very creepy, kooky, out there story in the Matrix. I love the conversation that Popperwick has with the Doctor and Glitz, and the whole circle and the infinite loop thing about procedure and all that. I love that kind of interplay, and it kind of works a little bit. It's a shame you didn't get any more of that really in the next episode, the part written by Pip and Jane Baker. But it's very surreal. It's very body hot. It's very, kind of horror tropes on it, and it's an enjoyable little episode, that one. The 14th part kind of brings it down a little bit. It becomes a bit of a mismatch very quickly. Yeah, there's a decent resolution to the end of episode 13, after the Doctor seems to be sinking in quicksand, and the confrontation between the Valeyard and the Doctor on the beach is quite interesting. But as soon as the Master gets involved more properly and starts trying to take secrets all over the place and tries to get the Doctor away, to lure out for the Valeyard for the final confrontation and all that stuff in the fake trial and everything else, it becomes a mess. An extra 5 minutes of nonsense really, and it kind of brings down to a messy end at the end. Not very satisfying ending to the whole thing, I don't think, and it's not the greatest of endings really for the whole story. Colin Baker goes back to his more bombastic self here, kind of has to, because he's fighting against the character there, and it doesn't suit the Doctor that well. Now we've got to the stage, I prefer to... Yeah, I know realistically he's probably in the time frame the right type of character for the Doctor, but after seeing such a nicer version in Terror of the Vervoids, the previous part, it does let it down a little bit, seeing him regressing a little bit in the character. Bonnie Langford, I think this was the first thing she shot as Mel, and you can tell she's a little bit stiff, a little bit uneasy, I think is probably the best way. She works, she does the job. Again, she doesn't scream that much, although there is always a good gratuitous scream with Mel somewhere in there, because she can do it quite well. But yeah, precursor of what's to come, maybe? She's a little bit more annoying in this one than she was in Vervoids, that's for sure. Linda Bellingham's the Inquisitor. She's a bystander again. It's an interesting character. She tries to get control, loses control very quickly once the Master reveals that the Valeyard is the Doctor, and doesn't really get the control back. Really, it's really an odd situation. She is effectively a watcher of what happens in the Matrix, which we all are really in that respect, and that kind of parody comes in place. I mean, Linda Belling plays the character well throughout the series, but there's not much character there to play. Michael Jason's Valeyard, yeah, he's becoming a panto villain now with the way he's going about things to try and defeat the Doctor. Just playing about of subversion and everything. The bad acting he does as Popperwick, which the Doctor comments on, which is a bit weird. He's a good confrontation. Jason plays it with aplomb, but there's not much there really of the Valeyard at this point. It's really weak. to be fair. Then we have Glitz played by Tony Selby. He's back. The episode that Robert Holmes writes of him works. The episode that Pip and Jane Baker write for him doesn't. He seems more of a lackey in the last episode than he does in episode 13. He is a little bit more scheming in 13, and the character that I liked in the first 4 parts of the season is there, but it isn't so much in the last part. I suppose the nature of the beast, of the way he works and everything, and the way the character's been portrayed. Then we've got the Master himself, Anthony Ainley, who's enjoying having fun here. It's nice to see the Master having fun again, because he's become a little bit more serious, and Anthony's last turn is very dark as the Master at the end of 1989 with Survival. This is a nice, pleasant Master enjoying himself and just fiddling on the edges, really, to try and get something. And Anthony Ainley's comfortable role by now, you can see that, and it works. It does the job for me. Then you've got Popperwick, played by Geoffrey Hughes. Nice pompous character. I do like the way that Geoffrey Hughes puts things about here. I like the conversations that the Doctor has with Popperwick in regards to speaking to him in these procedural ways. It's very civil servanty sounding. I don't know if Robert Holmes or Pip and Jane Baker take any indication from Sir Humphrey and Yes Minister, but it's got that kind of little procedure thing coming on, which Hughes plays well and plays with fun. And then the only other major character is Keeper the Major by James Bree. And every time I see James Bree after seeing the War Games, I expect him to shout his lines. This is a restrained performance. It works for what we need it to. But there's always that thing with James Bree. He's a bit stuffy with the characterization. But I just wanted him to scream. I just wanted him to shout. It's as simple as that. Dominic Glynn comes back for the music, and it's nice to tie that all up with a music that's very similar to the beginning, and that's a nice bow to tie up there. It's mostly atmospheric. There isn't really any major musical tropes in this one. It is just more stings than anything else. And then we've got Chris Clough doing a bit of action on OB, and his OB work is pretty solid. And his direction's pretty solid. It's quite pacey, and it's enjoyable to watch. Overall, though, this is a bit of a stickler for me. This section is what the weakest part overall of the trial season, and I give it only 3 TARDISes out of 5. Now, I'll put into the overall in a minute about how that works and everything else, but just very quickly I want to go back to something I mentioned in the very first episode of this first review of this series, and that's the cliffhangers, the cliffhanger acting. And I've left it to here because there's a little bit more space, obviously, doing these last 2 episodes. So, there is a trope that you'll see throughout the whole of the trial, which is the 6th Doctor with his face, cliffhanger face, any various reactions of Colin Baker's Doctor throughout the series. There is only 2 instances where the last shot before the titles kick in, the credits kick in, that I can recall, or 3 episodes out of the 14, where the 6th Doctor isn't the last image. And that is the 3rd part that's part 3, part 9, and part 14. Every other has an image of the Doctor as the last image you see. And Colin Baker, congratulations, sir. You can do cliffhanger acting with aplomb. To get different facial expressions for each one and do and make it interesting, each one is great work, sir. However, it's a bit grating how we have a situation where the Doctor must show his face in a cliffhanger acting. It does carry over a little bit into McCoy's era, the early start, but it's not fun. Yeah, I like the jeopardy, but you should have that less often. You shouldn't have the Doctor's his face there every cliffhanger. It just kind of spoils it a little bit. There's other things you could do to make better cliffhangers here, and the examples we do have here are a lot better than the facial expressions we get from the Doctor most of the time. It's a shame. It really is. Overall, the story kind of, the arc kind of misses the mark a little bit. it's not the best executed example of a story arc I've seen in any series. Certainly all of the story arcs of the new series work out better than this one. And certainly the Key to Time is a better story arc overall as well, in regards to it. But it does the episodic nature a lot better than Trial does for the whole season, and certainly is one I will come back to and have a look at in the future with other reviews. But overall, the marking may be a little bit generous, but I did say I was going to do an average, and that comes out at 3.5 TARDISes out of 5. And that is where we're going to see how Trial of a Time Lord fits in with the rest of the reviews. The Trial of a Time Lord sits in at 3.5 TARDISes out of 5, which puts it in the company of the Aztecs, the Leisure Hive, Vengers and Varos, the War Machines, and Amy's Choice. At the top, we have still the Happy's Patrol, Inferno, the Day of the Doctor, the Caves of Androzani, the Tomb of the Cybermen, and Dalek, all with 4.5 TARDISes out of 5. That's it for this epic set of reviews for Trial of a Time Lord. If you've enjoyed them, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think of a Trial of a Time Lord, and thank you very much for watching these reviews. Next time is a review of the 5 Doctors. That's on Sunday at 4 PM GMT. That's the general rule for these videos, of course. A new video uploaded every Sunday at 4 PM GMT. UTC +0, as I say. If you like this video or you like any of the other videos, don't forget to like them and share them with the hashtag teamstructor. And also, hit that subscribe button if you like the channel as a whole, and hit the notification bell so you know when a new video comes out. Until next time, thank you guys for watching these. I'll be back on Sunday with the 5 Doctors. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.